Welcome back to North Cork to the North Bank. The Premier League is back, Arsenal are back, and the champions have started exactly how we wanted them to start. 3 points, 3 goals, clean sheet against Coventry City. Tonight we're going to look back on the opening night win. We're also going to take some to look back on Gabriel Martinelli's best moments in an Arsenal shirt. With his time at the club coming to an end. Then we're going to talk about the 5 Arsenal players that were in the PFA Team of the Year, including William Saliba making it 4 years in a row, the first player ever to do that. And then we'll be looking ahead to the Aston Villa game at Villa Park next Monday night. So let's get into it. Let's start. Last Friday night, so 3 points, 3 goals, clean sheet. So first question, was it like what you expected? Were you impressed with anyone? What do you think, John?
I predicted a 3-0 win. Doom and Gloom Paul over there had us losing, and all his favourite players starting. And he had players kicked out of the club. We weren't even feeling 11 because he didn't like 11 of the players we had. So lucky enough that nobody listens to him, and he's not part of the coaching setup, because we wouldn't have got away with a handy 3-0. But look, the Coventry are slightly better than Hull, so we got away with one. And we didn't spend as much as Tottenham either, so I expected us to struggle. And so look, what can you say? Who stood out was the question. The left-hand side.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. It was just like as you said last week. It'd be easy 3-0 win, 3 or 4-0. We got 3 or 4 goals up and things like that. We kind of were nearly bang on with the starting team. Most of us were kind of expecting Havertz to start over Gyökeres, especially Paul was definitely into that one.
Paul wanted Gyökeres taken out behind the bar and shot.
Yeah,
did
flogged. But I actually like even Havertz took his goal really well. It was a great finish, But as you said, John, that left hand side, the goal came from there with Solis and Calafiori teaming up. Calafiori squared a great ball in, and Havertz finished it brilliantly. But it looked like Arsenal it was getting the confidence was there, It looked the style of play looked a bit better as well for me. Like we were on the front foot attacking a bit better than holding on to the ball a lot more like we used to. That's what impressed me about it. I really enjoyed the game when I watched it. What about you, Paul?
Well, yeah, it's a good game. I did say 3-1. I did think Coventry would get a goal, being their first day back, that they'd be a bit more up for it. But in reality, it's just that the quality that they come up against, you can be up for it all you want. If you're coming up against one of the 2 top clubs in the world, enthusiasm and endeavour may not be enough. If you were coming up against a team maybe in 7th or 8th, ultimately that might do you and you might get a draw, but not when you're playing a team as good as Arsenal. And what I was impressed with really was our right hand side more than our left, and it was mainly down to the fact that all our right hand players were back. That triumphant dub, Odegaard, Saka and Havertz were there, and even Ben White joining in. The overlaps, it was all back. It's been too long since we've seen it, and I think it had a lot to do with our struggles in terms of attacking play over the couple of seasons, because we just couldn't field those players all at the same time. There was someone missing, there was someone injured. I mean, Havertz was injured for donkeys. Odegaard would only come back to disappear, and Saka had 2 major injuries, and Ben White is made of paper. So when they're there and they click, and they're just fun players to watch. The game was fun until it wasn't. I mean, when it was 3-0, we could have won that by 10 if they really put the foot down.
I remember before, when Arsenal were dominating the early 2000s, we used to do that to teams 3 or 4-0 up. The game was done. It was over, and it was just, and it kind of had similar vibes to that. Similar, no, not the same, obviously, but similar, where Arsenal completely controlled the game. Gave them nothing. I read a stat, they had 4 touches in our box. 4.
Crazy, isn't it?
That was it. I think one of them was a header straight at David, but we defended it well. He just couldn't get any purchase on the header, just straight at him. But
yeah, that was a good chance, actually. That was a good. They worked that well.
I think there was a challenge from, I think it was Nkapia, just came in behind him and he didn't get a clean contact on the header, But four touches in the opposition box.
A massive wake-up call for, I'd say, Frank and his staff, well, maybe not a massive one because, again, they're playing the champions, one of the best teams in the world. Perhaps this is a gimme to him, as in, look, we're not getting anything here. Let's focus on the next game. But if they were under any illusions that the Premier League's going to be as forgiving as a championship, I mean, that first goal alone, your man touched the ball. He only put it up by a fraction, and it was the defender on the crossfield pass from Ben. And you don't get time like that in the Premier League to put the ball that far away from your body, especially with guys as hungry as Solis, who looks one of those kind of Harrier kind of players, as in he's in around you, he's giving you no space, no time. Very Martinelli in that sense. And then Calafiori, the first touch to get it out of his body and whip it across. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant. I love to watch that kind of football now. When we didn't have any, we weren't carrying anyone who isn't technically savvy enough to play that kind of football,
Yeah.
I don't have to name the names. Do you know what I mean?
We know who you hate.
Yeah. Go back to John.
So, John, that's Havertz 2-2 for Arsenal. You include obviously the Community Shield and the Coventry game. He looks sharp, and he's taking his goals as well. I thought he played really well, and we've talked about this with Gyökeres and Havertz. We see him starting against Villa, don't we? You think he still has to start, don't you?
Yeah, he played the full 90, and the theory is that Mourinho and Zubimendi needed the minutes because they missed them in pre-season. So he gave them the minutes this time where Gyökeres is up to speed. So Gyökeres, and then there's transfer speculation and all that. But he can't play the 65 games as the striker for the season. Gyökeres is a great fill-in with him working together. We need a Solis helper. We have some Madueke. I think, just to go off tangent a small bit from Havertz, his place is nailed on, I think. He does play. But I do think Madueke might come over to the left-hand side and Doman maybe emerges on the right eventually. It mightn't happen this season. It could be next. But then we probably get the upgrade on the left-hand side. Madueke doesn't. But I think Madueke being able to play over on the left with Solis, that's covered. Then on the other side, Madueke, Doman, Saka, that's covered. And then up front, Gyökeres and Havertz together, that's covered. Then Eze, Odegaard, that's covered. Then Gimenez and Rice and Mourinho, that's covered. And then Zubimendi, Rice, Gimenez, Lewis Skelly, that's covered. And then Konza covers loads of places. And Mosquera, before he came over to Arsenal, played left back and left side of centre back just as much as he played right side centre back and right back. So Mosquera is one of those guys that can do all four along the back.
In fairness, Timber it can do anywhere across the back line as well. But we don't need to rush him back, and that's the bonus there of having those players in. But the thing is, with Havertz, he's such a clever player. He presses well. He knows when to drop off. He's a better player in relation to Gyökeres for that. Do you know what I mean? He knows when to press, and he's a better in the team. They look a better team sometimes when he plays. That's all I would say. Sometimes. That's all. And now back in Paul. I just say I saw on the stat was Odegaard, Havertz, and Saka. It was the first time they kind of started in 20 months or something like that.
Crazy.
December 2024.
Yeah, it was crazy stat, and I was like, "Fuck!" And
that's testament to the fact that in that period we finished second, and we won the league, and we were missing those players for large chunks of it at different stages of both seasons. I really thought that it was the January of 2024, right? That season when Liverpool went on to win it. And we hadn't had a great start, but we were still there or thereabouts. And I said, right, we're going to go on this run now. We're going to start putting the points on the board and catch them. And then before the transfer window was shut, Havertz blew his hamstring, and we had no chance to get someone in. Not really, it just didn't materialize.
We actually played Marino up top to the next game on it.
Yeah,
against
yeah. He
Leicester.
did very well, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He scored a couple of goals against Leicester, and I think got in the next game scored 2. And he was very much a makeshift striker, and a very good one by certain standards. But he's not Havertz. Like, yeah, like I'll hold my hand up when we signed Kai Havertz. It was another kind of, what are we doing here? Another Chelsea player. You know, we've been burned before, but he's really shown his quality as an Arsenal footballer. Well and truly, he's one of my favourite players we have at the club. You know, like, because he can do it all as a centre forward. You know what I mean? It's just night and day. I hate to rag on the Yoggers, I really do. But like, you stick the ball up there and it gets stuck. You know, and he'll bring people into the game and nothing dies on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's so good like that. Yeah.
John, as I predicted last week, Saka would start. He got on the score sheet. Like, he looked better. You know, obviously he's still behind minutes wise and stuff like that. Like, it is a season. Hopefully he stays injury free, because consistently he was always a top level. Do you know what I mean? Consistently always top level when he plays. He always produces something, you know. And he looked a bit sharper when I was watching him. What did you make of him?
He was very good, but he played within himself, which is okay. He didn't need to do anything drastic, because what we have nowadays that we didn't have, we have all the underlying stats. For instance, distance covered and sprints. And he usually is in the top 3 of those, where it was Havertz was second in both. I think Ben White had the most sprints, and the distance covered was Odegaard, and then Havertz was second in both. I think I'm nearly sure. But then the Saka is usually up there, and he wasn't. So you could tell, I'm going to get on the ball, I'm going to feel into this game. And then once we got 2 and 3 up, he kind of went, I'm going to take my foot off the gas now, where he'd never protect himself before, and he'd suffer for it. So it's good to see he's mature, that he's now learning, I don't have to go in for every 50-50. Odegaard isn't either. They're playing, there's more brain there now. There's more control there.
Especially all the injuries they've had. And then you're looking and going, they need to, as you said, they're looking after themselves a bit better and saying, I'm not going in here. Like, I think we said it before, like, that's what fucked Wilshere that time. He never he just went in just to get a toe on the ball, and the fella would smash him and destroy his ankles. He's like, that fucked his career. But as you said, like, he played within himself a little, like, he built into the game. But I thought he played well. Like, it's mad when you actually consider that Saka is still only 24. That's all he is. 24. And the amount of games
a lot of
he's played.
Football under his legs by this stage, isn't it?
At 24, he's played a lot of football. You know?
These guys won't eat bad food. They won't drink alcohol. They won't do anything out of the way. In their off season, they're training every day. These guys are not the 24-year-olds of, say, when Wayne Rooney was 24. They're not damaging themselves. So, and they have the best. This new medical center they built now in the Sophia thing. They changed the whole medical team at the academy, right? The underground. No, they've done an extension onto a building, and it's just recovery and medical, and they've hired all new everything. So where there was 3 physios, there's now 8. So they've got everything.
Am I right, John, in saying that we the second worst injury numbers last season?
Yeah, last season.
Second worst.
So when Tottenham were saying, we're bad because we've got loads of injuries, we were able to go, we have loads of injuries and we won the league. Yeah, no excuse. And Arteta never gave in to the excuse.
That was
it.
That's half the battle, isn't it, with Arteta? It's like it's a mindset. You know, if you give someone the opportunity to grasp onto something as an excuse, more often than not, they take it. Like, with the guys who had the most injuries last year were actually Spurs, to be fair to them. Like, 17th is a mindset for a squad like that. That, you know, we had no right to be winning a league with the amount of injuries we had, but we did. They should have finished far higher than they did. Like, even with all those injuries, that team is a top 10 team. You know what I mean? The squad they had, and they were nowhere near it. Like, it's about mindsets, all up in the kiln. And they're losers.
But as John said, like, Arteta doesn't make excuses when players are injured. He never did. He just say, "Oh, he's injured. We'll see him in a couple of weeks," and then he'd move on. He'd never dwell on it. Do you know what I mean? And so you touched on
Because
the
there's no
second
point
goal.
there. It's wasted. Like,
It is wasted energy, and
it's
I don't need
wasted
it.
energy as
Yeah.
As a manager, there's a wasted energy. That modelling and thinking about what could have been stuff. Forget that. It was never an option because he's not available. You have to do with what you've got, you know?
Yeah.
And he also does very well is he leans into the next guys don't, and that gives them a sense of self-worth. As in, like, if you're saying, oh God, I have to play you guys, what kind of message is that to send to the lads? Like, you know, that you're putting out to play for your club. You know what I mean?
About the fella that you're missing.
Even when we had bums, we had bums like Raheem Sterling, and he'd talk Raheem Sterling up regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'd still go for it. As in, like,
he never
Raheem's a
dragged
great
him
player,
down.
he knows things.
Yeah, he never
William
never did it. No.
dragged.
No. So John, you touched on him there a while ago. The captain, Martin Odegaard, thought he played very well again.
Yeah.
He got a goal. Like, his goal is slightly lucky because he totally miskicks it, wrong puts the goalkeeper, and he knocks into the net. But he looked like he dictated the game again. I thought his passing was brilliant, and he looked like, again, smiling his face, enjoying his football. I thought he was very good.
Well, wasn't he brilliant? He looked strong as well, and he looked happy. And it is, I think it's the platform behind him. I just think because Rice is no longer trying to get in the box, that he's back, and that it's Lewis Kelly is punching the ball forward. It's a totally different dynamic, which keeps Odegaard up there near the goal, and now he's having fun with it. It just really, really looks totally different. It's not even like it was 3 years ago when he was peak. Remember, 2 seasons he was player of the year 2 years in a row. It's not even that system, because he bounced off Saka in a 2, up in that right hand corner. He's not even there. He's popping up on the other side. The ball is moving. He's not going to receiving it back and letting it go early. He's not hanging on to it. He's not taking 3 or 4 touches. He's going, who's the free man? Take it. I'm gone. Give it back to me. It's a different Martin.
And he looks a lot better for it, doesn't he, Paul?
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take the opposition into account. Obviously, they're not like a high quality team. They're a good side. You know, they won the championship, so they're not mugs. But even still, this is a continuation of a great World Cup, a good Charity Shield, and now this. You know, it is indicating that we're getting the Martin Odegaard back from a few seasons ago, when I think it was actually Rodri done him when he was playing for Norway against Spain. Absolutely smashed his ankle, and he was out for months, really, 8 weeks. Came back, and you know, when you come back from that, it takes a while to get your rhythm going again, and it just didn't seem to happen. I watched him take shots, and he couldn't seem to generate the power he did because of that injury. You know, they are bad injuries, and I honestly thought, like, we were never going to see that Martin Odegaard again, that he was going to be a fine player for us, kind of dictate the press, all these kind of intangible things he does that are very important to the team for shape and tempo. But I thought, in terms of being a goal threat, being an assist provider, all that, I thought they were all gone. But no, John is right. He comes back. He looks like he's playing with a smile on his face again. He looks like he's bulked up a little, you know, made himself a bit more robust. And in all honesty, you know, you wanted a hot take from me earlier. I think if he continues like this, he's going to be back as our player of the year. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I think. If he can continue this and stay injury free, that's the thing. He's as good as anyone in our team. And like the platform, as John described behind him, as in Rice, Bruno, Lewis Kelly, Zubamendi, any of those guys, they're going to let you free to express yourself. You know, last year we were far more cagey outfit because we hadn't won it before. We had yet to get that trophy in the bag, and, you know, 4 years of maybes and stuff. That's massive, crippling pressure. And we got over the line, and let's face it, we got just over the line in the end. But now that monkey's off the back, I think this team's ready to express itself and go gangbusters, you know, and just
like
go for teams again. Sure, what have they to lose now?
No, nothing. But you said it a while ago about mentality. Like, that's a mentality thing where they're winners now. They're champions. Do you know what I mean? And they're like
champions.
And it's a different mindset. It gives you a different, like, it gives you that, you know, self-belief. And all of them now are chest is popped up. They look strong. They're all ready. And Arteta, I think before the game, you said it. You said the weekly interviews. He said he was impressed by the way they look up for it. All the players look up for it. Even back with training and stuff like that. But look, he's played well in the 2 games so far, the Community Shield and Friday night. The top Odegaard played well in both games. Like, he looks like, as we said, he looks like he's enjoying his football. He looks strong. He's dictating the game for Arsenal now. But the Villa game will tell us more. The Villa away game. When we look there, but I'm happy so far what I see. So, and like, I didn't even talk about him. But Tom Miles again was brilliant in midfield. He just looks like he's enjoying it so much, and he's passing. Like, I think Arteta likes the balance of the left footer in the midfield. It just, because the body opens up and it's bang out that way. Same to defenders, do you know what I mean? So he's going, like, even the first goal, we never kind of hit a long cross ball like that. We haven't done that for a while, really, have we? Like, when Ben White smacks it that way, the last game or something like that, yeah.
That seems what we've noticed from the 2 games, early, fast, up there. It seems to be released to guys. But the thing is, what you can see when the ball goes early to Saka, Ben White's up alongside him for the second ball. If a defender does get a toe to it, we pick up the pieces. So what we saw with the ball over to Salas is Calafiori was up there with him, pick up the pieces. So it's not only the quick ball, it's the second ball. So they're attacking him in pairs. So and when it goes to Havertz, Odegaard's next to him. So as in, we're not pairs across the pitch. Rice is next to Lewis Kelly. So if I go up and win a header and a guy, we all go 50-50, if I get anything, my buddy's going to come along and sweep up. They're all acting as the Saliba Gabriel situation. You go Mark, I go sweep. They seem to be sweeping each other across the pitch. They're a total unit.
As you listen to the interviews and stuff like that, and they're looking and going, they're just saying, like, Arsenal squad, and they haven't even added anyone to it. They're going, they don't even have to add anyone, and look at the strength of the squad they have. They're like, and they were on about Arteta, like, because he's a winner now, he's won the Premier League, and that, as Paul said, the monkey's off the back. He's going to be a different animal to be dealing with now, like, and with, as you look, Guardiola gone, he's the next person, the next kind of master, as they called him, and the others are chasing us. I don't know. Like, you see the other games over the weekend. Like, how many of those results surprised you?
I was going to say just a lot of those teams. They've bought a lot of players and they're in flux at the same time. So, like, I think what you will see in the first maybe 4 or 5, 6 games for those teams is inconsistent results, and hopefully we're consistent and, like, win the first 6. You know what I mean? And that could, if we win the first 6, I could easily see us being 6 or 7 points clear after 6 matches. I just think there's that much churn in the other clubs, new managers, new players, guys being bedded in, even guys that aren't even here yet, as in, like, there's another week for the transfer window before it shuts, or a few days anyway. And there's a lot still to happen. And if you can just get out in front at the beginning, it gives Arsenal a bit of a cushion. When it comes to playing those European games and stuff, and maybe flipping the team from, midweek to weekend, you know what I mean? So we're so settled, and I think that's important.
But if we have to bring in Ramirez, Zubimendi and Eze instead, our midfield won't be oh wait, no. Okay. We'll be fine.
Yeah. For sure.
It's crazy when you think of it. Like,
but I mean, look, Spurs spent 300 million, and they there was only one of them was playing on the weekend, as far as I could tell. There's not 2, but two of them were free transfers. It was essentially their big signing. Tonali played, Sensei and Robertson, and Robertson's legs are gone. Like, I thought he might be a good signing, but, like, looking at that game, it's like, geez, I mean, maybe he wasn't playing for Liverpool for a reason, where did they go from there? I suppose they'll have their better players back, and we'll see how they go. But, like, we've got to take advantage of that when we can. Well, there is the flux. No, I don't think we're needed long term. I think we're still better than all those teams. But it'd be nice to not have the old the fucking, what is it called, squeaky bum time we had last year. That was a tough old running. That was a tough run. You were there when we were watching that Burnley game over. Like, when you look back at the highlights, comfortable to fuck. But I was absolutely
like, I was with you the state of watching it. I felt comfortable. I never felt that we were going to lose or draw that game. but
maybe we're just
no,
two
I
different
I
characters
wasn't.
completely. Or else,
Oh yeah, I felt it all season. I was just like, anytime, like it was so hard. We were so organized. It was so hard to break down. I always felt that if we scored, it was so hard to score against us. Do you know what I mean?
I can't wait to see Konza get going because I watched the highlights of him and he has this beautiful long pass over the fullback into space and Saka's going to eat that up. That's a constant weapon he has. It's a LeBouf, a sweeper centre half type passes.
Yeah, who can play the passes. I like that. Like he picks them out, and like he's Saka's best friend.
It's incredible. And I think Eze will get a boost as well because he's great friends with him as well. It'd be nice to see, like, well, we haven't seen Gyökeres, Eze, Mourinho, Subamendi go yet. Max Doman hasn't go yet. Madueke hasn't clicked yet. So as in, it's only one proper game in. So this is so good. We haven't even lit the touch paper yet. We've 37 games left. Probably have to win 30 of them again to win the league. And you can pick out 20 of them where it should be nailed on, which obviously will get 2 or 3 freak results. And then it's the head-to-heads against the bigger teams. We were terrible in the top 6 head-to-head table last year, whereas we went unbeaten for about 3 years. The 3 years we went second, we were unbeaten against top sides. And then the year we won the league, they nearly all beat us. So if we switch that back to unbeaten again, that's the league over.
It would be.
Yeah.
But look,
how do we fancy our game against Villa?
I think Villa are all over the place at the moment. If you look at the team, they're struggling. They need to, obviously, they're going to be busy in the transfer market. I think, I heard that in the final week, there's going to be 70% of the transfers are going to be done. There could be either loans or fucking permanent transfers or obligation to buy and shit like that. But 70% of the transfers are going to be done in the final week. There's teams it's going to go right down to the last second. And then I know teams are going to, like, I'm surprised by, like, Villa, imagine, like, to get into the Champions League, they win the Europa League and they sell half of the fucking team that got them there. Roughly half.
Yeah. And apparently Ollie Watkins is refusing to play this weekend.
I think it's done. I think he's done. The Saudi move is done. Yeah, I think it's done.
Done and all. Great.
I think so. I'm pretty sure it's done.
I wonder, wouldn't Villa be a much better team if they bought Newerney and Martinelli? Wouldn't that improve them?
Of course, they're better than what they have.
And they'd get, let's say, 110 million would do those both deals. And they'd be much better. Martinelli be a superstar for them. Newerney would grow and he could flip him in 3 years, double their money, and he'd be great. He'd get 10 goals a season. And Martinelli would get his 10 goals a season. And that would save them from a relegation fight and keep them platformed in mid-table till they could improve much more. So as in, there are 2 players available to them, and they're not even biting. It's strange.
Yeah, look, we don't know.
Yeah,
there's something else there. Like,
I've done it. Sorry, I know about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they should have, but
and especially considering the Unai Emery links as well. Like, he was the guy that gave him his debut at Arsenal, believed in him. You know,
yeah.
It would have been a good call.
So, see, now we're talking about him, Martinelli. So we do a little bit on Martinelli. So he arrived at Arsenal in 2019. He was 18. No one knew him. It was a 4th division Brazilian football, something like that. When he came in Arsenal, they were going to say, it'll probably be a year before he get to the team. But he kind of obviously then impressed in pre-season and training and all that. So he ended up actually staying with the first team squad and then kind of broke in a bit. So, like, a lot of Arsenal fans are on, they didn't want him to go. He was kind of a fan favorite. People liked him because he was kind of one of the first players at the new era. Unai Emery had him, and then obviously he was with Arteta's team. So if I was to ask you the one Martinelli moment that just comes to your head straight away, just the one, no, Paul, not 7. What was the first one that comes to your head that you was called Martinelli?
The goal he got last year in the Premier League against City. It's my like as an Arsenal supporter, my biggest regret is that we didn't play that man through the middle. I don't know why we didn't, but like some of his best goals are just bombing through the centre. As it picks him out, and he has that like out to in run, goes beyond the defender and like flicks it over a giant in Donnarumma. But yeah, it was a great goal.
I was at that game.
Yeah,
I was at that game.
Like, I think, yeah, what a goal! Like, I think there's so many other Arsenal fans that I talk to. Over time, they've kind of, and it's understandable that they've waned on Martinelli. As we've gotten better, he's kind of plateaued. And I've made the case before. It's because the tactics of our team changed, and it just didn't suit his strengths. Whereas previously under Emery, we were a far more we weren't respected. Teams came at us. There was space left for players like him to exploit, and he looked electric. And when teams respect you and they sit back in the low blocks, Martinelli is less effective. So, I can see that's why he's been moved on. But anyway, one of my favourite Arsenal players ever.
John, your Martinelli moment?
That Chelsea run the whole length of the pitch. Kante falling.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah. Sliding.
From the corner, yeah.
Yeah.
And then just standing there in front of the Arsenal fans, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that gets played a lot. It pops up a lot. It's kind of like the Bergkamp against Newcastle goal. Kind of pops up a lot. And what a goal. Every time Chelsea
yeah. He was 18 that. Do you know what I mean? So he great composure. It was the touch, and then Kante fell. So if Kante didn't fall, he was because it was a small bit heavy of a touch, but then it just puts him clean through after Kante falls over, and then he slots it, and then you do see him standing there with the arms folded. It's a great celebration. Scoring great goals in Europe, but because teams in Europe don't sit back and defend like they do in England, there was space behind. Like the one that he scored against Real Madrid over there in the second leg from the Arsenal defending, and they just played him in. And he just, the defender was actually had yards on him, and he outran him, just ran around him, right in front of him, slotted it, goal. I
honestly think it's crazy a bigger club is in front than the Saudis. I know he's massive money, and he's going to be made for his kids are going to be fine. His grandkids are going to be fine. His great grandkids are going to be fine. It's a huge move. 20 million a year apparently. It's just
20 million tax free.
Yeah, so
he's on 180 grand a week now. So he's probably getting paid after tax about 100 grand a year, 100 grand a week after tax. So over there it'll be 350 a week tax free. He'll do. Is it a 4-year contract? Is 80 million to him. He'll probably do 2 years and come back to a Atletico Madrid or a Real or a Barcelona. He'll come back. He can pick whatever team. He can go back to Brazil if he wants. Taking your young family and wife, and all his family live with him. They have 2 huge houses outside London, and all his parents and family are in one, and himself and his wife and kids are in another. So he's brought everybody, and he's paying for everyone. So he's going to bring them all to Saudi now. And there is a kind of, in Saudi, the Saudis live their life, but they have a kind of foreigners towns where the whole town is just the foreigners.
Mm.
So they let them have their pubs, and they let them have their shopping malls and all their events and their sports and everything. They leave them have. They've learned to say, you go do your own thing. They stopped them for years, and now they've kind of opened it up and said, right, you can do that over there once we don't see it. And then the rich people got involved, and then they're starting to mix and mingle and bring the celebrities in. And this is where the Saudi League kind of spawned. Somebody said, I'm going to bring Ronaldo, I'm going to get Messi, and they just paid him mega bucks and said, Ronaldo went and took the mega. And it's very hard to turn down. Ivan Toney's taken it. It's very hard to turn down. If somebody said to you, here's 10 million tax free, you couldn't turn it down. You'd have to go over there. I remember when I was working as a carpenter in the early 2000s, and somebody said it was Iraq. We were being offered £1,000 a day to go work in Iraq. And a few of the people working with me took it and went,
crazy.
Yeah.
And never came back.
Well, there was that danger.
So we move on. Martinelli. So in 22-23 was his best season for goals. 15 Premier League goals that season. Arsenal in title race. He was devastating on the left. He was fucking baiting in goals, and he was flying. Arsenal playing well, and then we were like, our best player, our winger now for the next 10 years. Could be right? Couldn't have said, like that season when was his best. He was 21, and you're looking, going, fucking what a player! 5 million or we paid for him, and he's 15 goals in the Premier League. Do you remember? Do you remember that season with him?
I thought Thierry Henry's record was going to be broken twice. I thought Saka and Martinelli were going to pass the 200 goal mark more than them, because I just calculated they were 18, 19 doing that, and then I said, right, when they're 31, they're going to have X amount of goals, and they're going to pass Thierry Henry, the both of them. I genuinely believe that.
It's still in the remit of Bukayo, Tom. No, he can still do it if he's still an Arsenal player in 5 or 6 years' time, we'll see.
As I said, he's only 24. Yeah. So, like, Martinelli, like, some players have kind of the favourite club they always play or score against. Do you know what I mean? He always scored against Liverpool. For some reason, he'd always have a good chance, or he'd get in there, he'd get a goal against Liverpool. Like, the amount of times he tried to go down that side because the pace he had, and he'd done the same with, like, again, with the Man City, things like that. But he's always kind of scored against Liverpool. And that time when Jurgen Klopp called him, like, the bargain of the century or something like that, wasn't it? Like, Klopp loved him.
That's what exactly. I was thinking if Klopp was still at Liverpool, he'd be going to Liverpool. Do you know 100%. What I mean? It'd be just like he would be their new Mo Salah, as in, remember when Liverpool bought Mo Salah, he had a good season at Roma, but he'd had a downtime at Chelsea too, and people were kind of doubting his qualities after being a precocious talent. And it could have been just that as well. The right guy to get a guy going again could have been Klopp, Could very well have worked out. It's just sliding doors. Anyway, good luck to him, He'll always be a legend now. He's won the title with us. He'll always be welcome back.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. He's gone, like, the only pity is that we didn't get to say goodbye properly, even I know you couldn't have brought him on, or you couldn't have imagine got injured or whatever, but like, it's a shame, that kind of thing, just the way it is.
I know. And you look at it and saying, but you could tell if something was happening because of the lack of minutes he played to pre-season. I think he only played a half or something like that. And then, like, you look at him going, he was left out of the Community Shield squad, he was left out then Friday night, so you knew something was coming. Like, it feels like some people were saying to me that it feels like he's been the sacrificed player for something bigger, Are we sacrificing him to probably bring in someone bigger? Because we're always going to sell.
Vinny Jr.
The ship has sailed.
The ship has sailed.
But the thing is, like, fans kind of, like, as you said there, Paul, like, a lot of fans, like, he was one of your favourite players, Like, it's just, I felt the same as you for the last kind of 2 years. He scored 1 goal last year. 1 Premier League goal. And
in the league.
Called it. Yeah, one Premier League goal, and that was the one against Man City.
He scored a goal. It's not even a number. It's a. He scored a goal. They don't even have a number. He don't even have a number for the amount of goals he got last year. Like, a goal. He hasn't even got the number. He's got 1 more goal than all of us. So I said that a few weeks back, and you laughed at me, and I went, it's like 50, I don't know the final figure. Some people are saying 60, some people are saying 50. But that's good. That's good money it's about time we got some of the Saudi money. It's like it's about time we were the ones with it. It's nice. And look, if we got 50 for Eaton, I'd take it too. That'd be a nice 100 million in the bin.
It's kind of role reverse here tonight, John. I'm lauding the Arsenal players and loving on them, and you're just saying, get them out the door! 40 million for Ethan, 60 million for Martinelli. Fuck what they did for us. From the local area, they can do one. It's about time he got some of that Saudi oil blood money. Go away with it.
I just saw a pop up in the Grove there a second ago. Chelsea offered 117 million for Rodgers in an owner-to-owner deal. 2 days later, Aston Villa signed Garnacho from Chelsea on a 4-year deal, obligation to buy 4.267 million. Villa added Nico Jackson today for 47.5 plus 17.5 in add-ons. 65 million total. That puts Villa's net take-home on the Morgan Rogers deal as 9.33 million. 9.33 is all they're getting for Rogers. And that's before factoring in Borough's 20% sell-on clause off the 117 mil fee. That's 23.4 million. All this new market rate nonsense we had to listen to. If mates rate market in 2026, don't believe anything until you see the full shape of the transfer window. So basically, it's a Morgan Rogers to Chelsea, and Villa get Garnacho and Nico Jackson. And what they kind of miscalculated, the 20% Borough puts them in the red.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Villa,
It puts them in the red by 14 million.
Yeah. So they took a 14 million loss on Morgan Rogers to take Garnacho and Nico Jackson. Whoever is running Villa was he was probably running Chelsea as well. It's so bad. That is bookkeeping. That's bookkeeping hiding down, trying to hide from the tax man. Pay me in cash, please. Like what? These guys were the same people probably ran Live Golf into the ground, 5 billion, and then fired all the snap today. Look at it. I can't believe people are this. You took a 14 million loss on a Morgan Rogers sale. That's 117 million.
And not only that, John.
14.
And look at the two players they got in
Not only
return.
that, John.
Two bang average players, to be honest with you, because they're not good players. To do them.
I think they're essentially they're like the stormtroopers in Star Wars. I mean, they have a hit rate like them. They can
shoot at everything and just
stand
miss everything.
Shoot at anything but the goal. No?
But they got the Goblin from the Lord of the Rings series and a Michael Jackson tribute and they lost 14 million doing it like that. What the hell? My
Are you saying
it's
Gollum,
so funny.
is it?
Yeah. He's the head off him, isn't he? Garnacho.
Yeah.
Wait, what's that?
Like
he was onside, was he? Garnacho was onside, lads.
Yeah, he was onside.
Yeah, he was onside. I was at that game too.
I mean, look.
Yeah.
That's the one where Jesus sent Dallo for a hot dog.
Yeah. I was and the right scored at the back post. Yeah.
His first goal.
Should any of us three really be throwing shade on people's looks?
This
is
that's
beautiful lads, but
that's why we're doing audio only, no cameras.
Audio only.
Got best for radio.
Yeah, best for radio. So we're gonna move on. Yeah. Right, so we're gonna move on. The PFA Team of the Year. Arsenal had 5 players in it, and rightly so. So it was Raya, Yorian Timber, William Saliba, Gabriel Martinelli, Declan Rice. 5 out of 11. 5. And remember, this is voted by players.
Give us the other 6 as well. Just
go on. So the other 6 I could not
have it on screen.
The other 6 I couldn't give a shit. So it was Nico Riley was the left back, Bruno Fernandes was midfielder, then you Ryan Sharkey, Anton Semenyo, Erling Haaland and Igor Thiago. They were the others. So it was definitely the right team. It was definitely the right team. Oh, absolutely. It's definitely the right team. Yeah. And like I couldn't make a case for another Arsenal player to be in it, to be honest with you. I couldn't, because if you said to me Zubimendi over Bruno Fernandes, I'd say you're wrong. I tell you that straight away.
No, Gyökeres over Haaland.
I agree, John.
Gyökeres over Haaland.
He's our top goal scorer. He won the league.
That's as bad as Paul Aiton. Erling Haaland.
Haaland doesn't do anything for the team. He's in a team that hasn't won the league for 3 years, and he's top goal scorer every year because he's not doing anything for the team. When Man United let me explain. When Man United were at their peak, they were winning titles every year or every second year. They never went 3 years without, right? Do you know the most barren spell they had? When they signed Ruud van Nistelrooy and he blew up the head, he got 20, 25, 30 goals a season. That was their most barren league-winning era. When they had the top goal scorer in the box, do nothing except the tap-ins. And now Haaland is doing nothing except the goals up on the end. And they're falling away. Teams have clocked it, cut out the supply to him and batter him. And they haven't won the league for 3 years. Their managers run away. Their captains run away. 2 or 3 of their best players have run away. The fear, they're gone. They all just went, no, we can't deal with this Arsenal. We're out of here. And that's it. And look at Haaland is up there. He's stuck in a 9-year contract. He doesn't want to be there. He has to. And now the new manager is saying, work back. To see him the highlights from the game to weekend. Him trying to work back. Him trying to go back into spaces for working. That's why he's useless at it. And then when the ball's breaking up the other end, he isn't there. Because he doesn't have. He's never needed to have a brain. Because he had the attributes to just run past people and kick it into the goal all the time. But the Premier League changed in the last 3 years. They went monsters in the back line. And now he's getting monstered. He's meeting brick walls. And the likes of Konza was at Villa blocking him. Did you see their highlights of their battles they used to have? Arteta built the blueprint to stop Haaland, and people are copying it. Haaland is not a great all-round player. He's a great finisher.
Okay, so I'll finish what I was saying.
Great soundbite, John.
It's a great argument. It is a great argument. So I'm not saying that you're wrong. No one's wrong. But remember, this is voted by the players. They play against their fellow professionals that voted this team. So, it's a serious level of recognition. So these are fellas they play against weekly have voted for these. As Bruno said, he voted for an Arsenal player. He revealed who is probably David Raya on him. So Arsenal, they did have 5, and it just showed how dominant we were. We had 5 players in there, and there was, without a question, Raya, best goalkeeper in the league, as we would say. I don't care what anyone says. He had the most clean sheets, fantastic season. He had another Golden Glove. This is his 3rd one in a row. Do you know what I mean? So definitely, he was nailed on. Yorian Timber was in there. He had a fantastic season. Just obviously the injury at the end of it, just if he had stayed fit, it could be Champions League in the pocket. It could have been. And we spoke about that before. What I like about him is he's aggressive, very good on the ball, very, very good on the ball. Can play anywhere. He's smart. He popped up with goals. He's probably our best fullback. So that's me. Big Gabby definitely gets in there. So I mean, him and Saliba, and as I said, it's Saliba's 4th in a row. He's the only player ever, as long as this is going, to be in Team of the Year 4 years in a row. And he could be in there for another 5 in a row on top of that.
Well, not this season, because the injury is going to take him out of any kind of reckoning, really. It would be unusual, John, if he comes back in January and manages to get in Team of the Year.
If you know what I'm saying, all right, wouldn't it?
Unfortunately. It would.
So,
it would.
He did it in France.
As much as I think he is brilliant.
He did it in France. He went on loan. Yeah. He went on loan to France for 6 months and he got in their Team of the Year. Remember when he was frozen out for 6 months at Arsenal? He wasn't even registered as a player. Can you remember that when Saliba wasn't registered for 6 months?
They played him.
And then, look, as you
it
said,
may
John.
Happen, but I highly doubt it. But yeah.
Yeah, look, again, this is their fellow pros are voting for these,
That's true.
Obviously with Declan Rice was Player of the Year contender. Absolutely, do you know what I mean? So again, he's back to back in the Team of the Year for him. We spoke about this before, with Bruno Guimaraes coming in. It would probably give Rice a bit of freedom to have a rest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think having 5 shows how excellent they were, but it also probably cost one of them the Player of the Year trophy, if it's a trophy award, because it kind of split the vote.
Split the vote,
I think we talked about this on the other award they give out. Bruno Fernandes is a worthy winner. He's had a superb year. But this one tends to not go to a player that I can only remember 2 really in my recollection outside of Bruno. No, 3. I can remember that David Ginola got it. Paul McGrath. I think it was Scotty Parker, wasn't it? Can you think of any others that didn't win the league and got the? No. It's very rare it happens. So fair play to him. But we should be happy with that though. It's a great recognition of our players' talents.
obviously Villa Park has been notoriously a hard ground for Arsenal to go to. It was a difficult game when we go there. And then obviously you've Unai Emery against Arsenal. Difficult opponent, but as we spoke about, Jesus, like they're selling and trying to buy in players. So it'll be a bigger test. But Konza, will he make his debut, John?
I don't think he starts, no. I don't think they bring him in to start. No, he might come off the bench, but starting, no. It's going to be pretty much the same team as the last time. You might have one player change. It doesn't even look like Kamara's is going to be back. He hasn't trained yet, so it doesn't look like he'll come straight in. So, yeah, it's the same team as last time. I reckon Arteta does that. He gets a winning formula and he sticks to it. And Villa as well will probably have a couple of new signings. They mightn't go straight in. Depends on who they buy him from. If they buy him from a team where they've already played, yeah. But look, it's like the Villa, Emery does not change. He's going to come and attack Arsenal, but he has got less weapons now. So I see nothing but another comfortable 3-0 win. That's what I'm going for again.
I agree. I actually think we might win by more, being honest. That club is in a state of flux. They've lost the spine of their team. They've bought young to kind of reinvigorate it, but I don't think they expected to have to get rid of so many to balance the books. So they were going to kind of phase them in. But like Tielemans, his bio clause was activated. Rodgers was money they couldn't turn down. Concept pushed, I'd say, to go. Do you know what I mean? He probably said behind closed doors, is like, this is my dream move to Arsenal. You know, Arsenal supporter and all that kind of crack. And they have the goalie situation with Ollie Watkins is 2 is down, as in like he's blocked 2 moves to Arsenal. I'm out of here. You know what I mean? When it's like heard it on the radio afterwards, it's like a lot of these footballers, no one's looking out for them when they're coming towards the end of their careers. They have to look out for themselves. And the money that he's been offered for Saudi is just going to be silly. So, take it. I think they're good.
Like, as we said, no one's stupid enough to turn down money like that. Doesn't matter.
So, yeah, I know Emery has a decent record against us, but I think it's a case of that we'll just have too much from, I think, and blow them away. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, actually. I'm looking forward to putting one over them a bit, because that 3-2 last year, that last kick of the game, that was heartbreaking. And I was delighted to be at the return leg with yourselves, with John, actually. And the 4-1 was fantastic. And I think it could be one of those. We just have too much. We just have too much.
It's a good time to be going to Villa Park to play them now, isn't it?
Great time. Exactly that. When they, like, in 4 or 5 months' time, maybe, they have all their new players bedded in and stuff like that. Terrible time to go there. But no, spot on, John. Great time to go.
Yeah. To know, like John, you called it there. They're probably going to go nearly the same team, would you?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I wouldn't change much. No, there'll be one or two changes. He might, he might start as no, he won't actually because of the Cashy goal last time. But no, there'll be some kind of a tweak somewhere. So, but it won't be much. It won't change much. So, we'll see. Maybe he brings in. So it was Lewis, Kelly, Rice and Odegaard last time. I don't think he's changing that. The front three, I don't think he's changing. So you're going into the back line. White had a great game. Calafiori had a great game. And Mascara and Big Gabby were tidy enough. So I think maybe if the game gets comfortable, he takes off Big Gabby and puts on Konza. If we've got to go 4 or 5, just to kind of put Konza in. Because Gabby's the next one needs protecting. He needs to start coming off in games that are done. You know, and so does Havertz now this time around. Because he played tonight. We need to start doing that more. No, I know I'm getting ahead of myself and we barely won a game over 2 goals all last season. I know that's crazy to be saying what I'm saying. I just think the 5 subs, the upgrades we have, we're powering up off the bench. And there is no weak player coming off the bench. Like even Madueke, you could say, was our worst player. He created 4 chances in the last game off the bench in 23 minutes. So that if that's our worst player, what are the rest going to do? You know, you're putting on a Mourinho World Cup winner there for token minutes just to get him up to speed fit. So we have him fit in November when we need to kind of rotate even a bit. You know, when we're playing Champions League, top 6 team. So two hard league games and a Champions League game. We've got these guys. I don't know. I know I'm kind of repeating myself a little, but Villa are not going to that first hour. They're not coming 90 with us. They might hold their own for a little bit, but they're not. They're not coming. There's no team will last 90 with us. Not with the bench we have. Not with the tactical solutions we have. Not with this new form platforming our midfield and squeezing people. We're not squeezing them now with 4 people pressing. We're squeezing them in the middle, and we're allowing them to come out at us, and then we're crunching them. It's a different style. It's a different Arsenal. It's a more, obviously, better players play better, but I just like the way that Miles Lewis-Skelly looks a phenom, Solace looks a phenom, and if we get Saka, Odegaard and Havertz pouring again, and never mind what we've got going, look at Ben White and Calafiori the last game. Oh, I can't. I'm just so happy. Just so happy to try to put it in better words. And I don't think Villa's
you sound happy, you know. But the depth of the squad, it makes such a fucking difference. You're looking at a guy we're bringing serious players off the bench. Serious. And any one of them could start.
Yeah.
That's the other side of it, you know?
Like, this is the great thing about having this squad, is that they're all superb players, and none of them want to be bit part players. So I mentioned it last week. Saturday, your opponent. Monday to Friday, your teammates are your opponents. They all want in. They all want to one up on each other. You know what I mean? While trying to maintain that kind of camaraderie, because that's important. But like, Zubamendi doesn't want to be behind Miles Lewis-Skelly or Bruno Guimaraes. And like, Miles Lewis-Skelly is like, well, I've dealt with Zubamendi. No, my next target to stay in this team is be better than Bruno Guimaraes. You know what I mean? Or like, Odegaard is looking over his shoulder and he's got Moreno and Eze, who had fine seasons last year. And he's like, well, I need to be on my game or I'm coming out of this team. You know, that's massive. That's massive. That's what United used to do. We've discussed this before. United used to do this. They'd add 1 or 2 into an already stacked team because it kept everyone on their toes. And you win things when there's competition within the squad just to get on the pitch. Simple. And that's what we've got, and it's so good. So good.
So, lastly,
this is the most positive we've ever
Champions
been.
League draws tomorrow. The Champions League draws tomorrow, and we're it's on tomorrow, I think. Like, it's supposed to be on a start of 5, but all the Carabao Cup's live. The live draw is actually on there in
right now.
2 minutes. I have the live stream ready. It's on the screen next to me. So
away to Man City.
We actually are away. We're actually away, so we don't know who we're playing. But Champions League draw tomorrow, supposed to be on at 5, but with all the crap the UEFA introduces every single person and all this crap, it'll probably be 6 o'clock by the time we get fucking on. You know, so we know the Champions League group.
In the League Cup there, we can't draw anybody in Europe. It's a new rule. So we can't
I saw that actually.
Yeah. And I'm going to leave you with this, lads. Champions League, we can't draw Inter as well in the Champions League because we played them twice away already in the last 2 years. So we can't play Inter. Can't play. So the draw, what will be. I'm just hoping there's a couple of dead rubbers in January that we can get handy tickets and that are decent games. You went to Card Almighty there, Paul. So they're nice handy tickets to pick up around January when all the season ticket holders don't really want to.
And it was club level. It was a lovely day.
Yeah. So look, we'll see. That's all I'll be watching the draw for. Really, that only picks up in once you pass Christmas. Really, you know. So
so like it's something we look forward to. So are you off? So John,
I'm gone. Thanks very much, and I'll see you.
No bother. I'll talk to you later, John. So Paul, stay on and watch the live stream. Out the live stream on here, we'll see who we get in the Carabao Cup. So Arsenal number 2 in the draw. As in the draw numbers.
Behind AFC Bournemouth, I believe.
Yep. So, and the thing is, so there's 8 teams involved in Europe, right? Including ourselves, obviously, and 6 of them were drawn at home, and Aston Villa were the only 2 drawn away.
Well, like we get to the semis again, I'd say. Oh no, the final, but not that last year. The squad is strong enough. And you know what? Like last year, it seemed like it was going to be one of those. Losing to City was going to be a real, hard pill to swallow. Maybe they wouldn't recover, but fair play to them. They put that behind them. And now it shows like maybe they're ready to go again.
We are Ipswich Town.
Away to Ipswich.
Arsenal away to a Premier
not so
League
bad.
team in the EFL Cup.
Yeah, well, yeah. What are the dates for those?
The 7th
they're
the
away
7th
matches.
or 14th. Yeah.
They're away matches you might be able to get tickets for. I'd love to go to an away match. It's so hard to get tickets. It's ridiculous. Yeah, as in there won't be a huge uptake, and you go to the crappy ones, you might get one,
Yeah, exactly. That's us for another episode of North Cork to the North Bank. Arsenal start the season with a 3-0 win over Coventry. We look back at some of Martinelli's best moments in an Arsenal shirt. 5 Gunners make the PFA Team of the Year. William Saliba makes it 4 years in a row, a record. And now attention turns to Villa Park. So if you're enjoying the podcast, follow us wherever you're listening. Subscribe to YouTube. Send us your score prediction for the Aston Villa and Arsenal game. We'll be back after the Villa game. Until then, goodbye.